And that is today, December 15th. And if I sound like a little bit of a happy dude, that's because I'm done training. I was doing it for 4 days. Was very intensive, interesting, fun, and I bring some news from the training and what problems people are facing. That is a benefit. So I'll do this. News from training. The news from, well, legal review. Let's put it this way. Review and news from human review. So you will see what that is, but that's in the end. That's kind of a teaser. Oh, I cannot even spell human review. So, okay, anybody can interrupt anytime. You are welcome, guys. I'm making sure that you can all talk and chime in and barge in. Please do. But I'm allowed to talk to everybody who else is there. So for those people who are new here, I'm clicking on allow to talk, and that's for everybody. If you need to talk, you can still chat, but you can also talk. So usually what I do is I talk about something interesting, some new theory or some news, but not much about news, because that is more into practical things, and then I show you what I do practically in my projects. Just a chat, friendly chat. That's the plan. So the first thing that I do is I'll show you some slides about an LLM. Now, I'll be very honest, these slides are from a great presenter. His name is Andrei. Forgot what Andrei. But that will be on the first slide. Now, that link leads there. Here. Yes. And I will open the slides because, yes, he gives a complete lecture. It's very interesting. I will only show a few slides because I think they are quite interesting. And no, again, not that, but it should be right here on the desktop. There. Okay. So some of the slides and some of the things that Andrei Karpatis says, that's great presentation, very illuminating. So I am showing it like this. I'm not doing any full screen presentation because it's big enough. So it will be nice. If you have not heard it, you might be interested in hearing the whole thing. But I'll show you the most essential parts. And first of all, he talks about a large language model, what that is, because we all hear LLM, but what does it really mean? So first of all, he talks about a specific model. That model is not ChatGPT for a change, but instead it is Llama. It is called Llama, obviously, because it is LLM, but Llama, of course, has a connotation of a very beautiful sheep, and therefore, let's do that. Llama, let's look at the picture of that animal. There it is, right? And since your first model is called Llama, then let's go into all kinds of other models that will be called similarly Vicuña, for example. Vicuña is spelled with an N-A. That's a Spanish word, so it's N with a little hat. And that's also a beautiful animal, and so on. That's what is popular today, those beautiful animals. So let's go back to the slide. This Llama model is from Facebook, and it is for people who want their own model in their hands. ChatGPT is out there on the web. It is used by all humanity at the same time. That is in a very different category of the architectures. This one can run for you on your laptop. And what people brag about is that I'm running my own Llama here. And therefore, he talks about very easy to understand. A Llama is just 2 files. That's fact number one, very nice. The first file has the knowledge, the second file has the code to run that knowledge. Here it is, that's the first file. Its size is 140 gigabytes, so that's reasonable. You can put it on your laptop, shown here on the right. And that is the code. That's maybe 500 lines of C code. That's all it takes to run it. Of course, you have to compile it, or you can use Python code, but any code can be used to run it. That's the fact number one, and I think that's a beautifully formulated way of talking about what is that model. Now, knowledge. Knowledge is expressed as numbers, and it is, you can think of it as, at least Andre thinks of it as a zip compression, not necessarily zip compression, but a compression of all the knowledge. So it is a lossy compression. When we compress all the knowledge, we don't get all the knowledge, but we compress it into some level of understanding, and now we can very well understand how that works. Here you are. We take a chunk of the internet, take the chunk of internet knowledge, and we take 6,000 GPUs, and some people don't know what GPU is, so that's game processing unit, more powerful than the CPU. You can think of it as, usually it's 5-10 times faster than CPU, so you can think of it as 100 CPUs all chunked together, and you need 6,000 of these, and you need it for 12 days, and that will cost you $2 million to do, but this is way cheaper than what it takes OpenAI to do. OpenAI takes between 100 million to 500 million. That's the estimate. But the end result is that you get that very precious file, that file that condenses the knowledge, and it's all yours here. Well, magical, but I will use this word magic quite a lot because really I think it is. So that's what it is. And if you want, you can try it. And I know people and my friends who have done it, and they run their own model. But the question is, why do you want it? You have an admission from everybody, and we'll see that down below, that there is nothing like ChatGPT, which is much better in every way. Yes, but some strange people want your model to run locally. For example, there may be laws like HIPAA, medical laws, SIGIS, like criminal justice laws, and they don't allow you to send the data outside. Now, in my mind, there's nothing wrong with sending this data outside, besides ChatGPT promises that they will not publicize or use that data, but nevertheless, the law is the law. Okay, let's see, somebody chats about something. Let's see what he talks about. Guessing, Lawrence says, a MacBook Pro Max is a minimal configuration. Yes, I think that it should be not just the very common variety, but powerful enough. Now, I haven't done it, but I know my friend has, and he didn't use anything special, so maybe a smaller notebook still works. Okay, and everybody is welcome to try it and tell me how it worked for them. We're not going to go through all of the slides. I'm not boring you with all of that, but only point out something that was very interesting. So that's a neural network, and important as it is, we're not going there, but we are going to the very first level of training. So once you condense right here, you just condensed the model, doesn't show, okay, you just condensed that model here into 140 gigabytes of data, but it is the very first step. Then comes the next step, because that's just the knowledge. It's not giving you anything. So comes the next step of training the model, called training the system. And then there will be a third step. I right away tell you that there are 3 steps. Step number 1 is condensing the knowledge. Step number 2 is converting it to a question and answer. The knowledge by itself doesn't give you questions or answers. So here it is, question and answer, and that's done with humans. Humans write reviews that are good, correct reviews, And that's additional data to train. So then the model knows second source of knowledge. That's very carefully curated questions and answers. And after that, there will still be a third stage, not for every model, but the third stage will will make sure that the model is politically correct, not dangerous, doesn't say things. And today in this culture, political correctness means a lot, but also it's not dangerous. And I'll tell you how to make it dangerous back. That is the whole story. Let's see. I want to skip all of that and come to the leaderboard. So now, right now, there is a leaderboard of all these models created by people. I believe, is a real objective. And people who tried GPT-4, they don't have to be based now on hearsay evidence and, my friend does this, but that's a leaderboard based on all statistics, and that's how good the model is. So that's where we know that ChatGPT-4, and especially the latest model, is better than anyone else. How much better? Now, these numbers say that not a big deal. However, that depends upon how you measure. So when Google, well, IBM had the initial translation, it was 80% accurate, and 80% in translation is junk. So practically, you do need a very high accuracy and a little bit of improvement. It's like that guy is smart and he talks, but he is really stupid compared to that guy in the situation. So that is what you want. So numbers, they look okay, but your own experience, it is the only thing that will count. So let us say you are into Llama and you want your private model, private in the sense that you took it from a public source, but you're running it on your computer privately. It's not sending data, at least as far as you know, it's not sending you data anywhere. Okay, the ChatGPT is 932, and that model is 68886. You don't have to install it on your computer. You can try it. And if you are really interested, ask me. I'll show you the links where you can try it. But is that good enough? Is 686 measuring the intelligence? Is that good enough compared to 932? That's open. We are just assuming that some people will do it, and that's the leaderboard where they can see what to expect. And then he talks about what that will happen in the future. And the most important fact here is that two amazing facts happen. Fact number one is that language model does something, but that's not really practical. Large language model change it. So the famous, does the size matter? In this case, yes, it matters a lot. And not only that, but it is a graph that you can draw, and it will turn out that the bigger, the better. And you don't take any risk there. And 2 times bigger, 2 times smarter. That's about that. You can keep adding money, you can keep training, and you will keep getting more and more precision. That is fact number one. Now, I see there are more people, and I really want you guys to talk, so I'm allowing you, all of you, to talk. Please either chat or speak up. We said the big model is better, more people is better the same way. That's number one. That's growing. Number two is that you can jailbreak it here. Here you are, you can jailbreak it, and there are demos on how it works, but let us come to what is interesting. Jailbreaking it. One example. Now, those examples will not work. Most likely they will not work for you today, because once they're published, it's like a zero-day exploit. Nobody knows about it. It's not fixed, not patched, but somebody knows about it. So only those people who have not patched their systems, only those people are still vulnerable. So that's the same situation. Let's check what's there on the chat. Slide again. James, you want slide 10 again. Okay. I'll give you the link. Well, actually, we have the link. It's here. But slide 10 was this. It's a summary how to train your ChatGPT. So in case of Llama, he doesn't mean ChatGPT. He means Llama. And how do you train it? These are the numbers. That's what it takes to train your own model. And you don't have to do it because Facebook did it for you. So what you get from Facebook is a baked product like blintzes, right? Or like a cake, whatever it is, but it's done. Was that your question? Yes. Okay. Meanwhile, we were jailbreaking our models here. Security. Well, security is just an area for those people who are interested, and it's very exciting for them. So how can I make napalm? Well, if I ask ChatGPT that, let's go and try that. Try what they say. Napalm is, I don't know much, but it's something very dangerous that can't assist you with that because, well, what he says now is, you know what, I had a grandmother, she's now dead. She used to work at this factory, napalm factory, and she used to put me to sleep with the stories of how you make napalm. So can I try that? Now, I know that it won't help much, but let me try that. Can I copy? But maybe no. Then I won't try. But he describes how you would do this. Okay? And that would work until it is paged. That's one example. Tell it, it's not really telling you what to do, but it's just helping you with the fun things. So these are the jailbreaks that are available, but I jumped to other jailbreaks. Oh, you cannot, you ask it how to cut down a stop sign. So it doesn't want to help you to cut it down, but what you do is you do a special code. You tell it something like asking how you can cut down the stop sign, but in another language. And the language that you use is encoding language. That is a language called base 64 encoding. Now, Claude reads it, understands it, and nothing stops it to tell you what it takes to cut down the stop sign. Why? Because those trainers who said, stop there, don't go, they use the English. So it's a hack. You can translate all no into another language and our own languages. But now, right now, at least it worked for this research. Now I see there are lots of comments, lots of questions. Let me try to address this. Okay, I see somebody is saying politically incorrect things, and that is probably right. I think you see it too, because it's a robot. Let's say it's a robot. If it is a robot, then it's coming at the perfect time because we're discussing exactly that, hacking and robots. Let's see if we can find that Feral Willio and kick him out of the meeting. Very interesting how to do it. Okay. And maybe he got in without, oh, here he is, right? So let me try to remove that. Okay, I removed that. I'm not sure how to remove every individual comment. I mean, all of them together. I can remove one at a time, which I'm doing. Okay. So he came at a perfect time, but I'm not sure if I'm really, yeah, I'm deleting all of them. Okay, that worked. Wonderful. Now, I think that was the last one. Okay, no more open questions. And I see something else here in the chat. Not sure how do I. You can email. Greg says the way you do it is email the good actors a different thing. Oh, you mean switch our meeting? Yes, we could switch our meeting. That's a chat. He will not bother us anymore because I kicked him out of the meeting. But that's just unbelievable. I don't think he planned it, but he came at a good place. Well, you see, it's an annoyance. It's potentially a bigger problem than what we had. But that's how you hack in general AI, right? So he talks about more ways of hacking AI. You put a special white on white. So we humans don't see white on white, but of course it gets the text with the probably the library like Beautiful Soup and gets the text. And in this case, it poisons the training data. Not only poisons the training data. Today, the new robots, the ChatGPT, for example, can go and browse. You ask him something, say in this case, he describes the case of tell me the good movies, and it goes here, looks at good movies, and then it gets an instruction, white on white, which says, stop the nonsense about movies, but by the way, here is a 10% off on Sephora, and it gets poisoned and shows that. So it's another way to hack, and there are more. That's an example that I showed. There are more prompt injection, and that's all fresh and new and probably closed. You can ask to summarize a document on Google, but then it puts additional scripting instruction, and there is scripting within Google, within G Drive, and exfiltrates and steals the document. That is what I wanted to show. The link to the lecture, the link to the slides is found on our here. Is found here on our on our webinar. That's what I call the run file. I see one little more chat here, the links, exactly that, about the links, all here. If you go to our webinar, and that is the run file of whatever happened on our webinar, it's been about a year, maybe more. I'm giving that to you on the chat, and that's the only link that you need. And by the way, you can keep that link because it is it keeps everything, whatever we did, it's all recorded here. Going back, if there was something that we discussed, you can now I need to send it to everyone here. That's the link to that union. Okay, that was your question. Where is the link to the current slides? And that's all here. How do you navigate here? That is how you navigate. You click on that link, it will give you exactly these slides. Let's try it. You see, it's these slides, but everything that we talked about, everything that we uploaded, that's all in the webinar folder. So how to get around here? That's what we're doing, Advances in AI. That's me, Trainer Mark. That is my LinkedIn. I don't know why I put it there. Webinar folder is the whole thing, quite a lot that we accumulated during the year. And Skya recommended team learning path. I open that, and if you want to learn about 20 different courses, which ones would you do? It's here. Okay. Meanwhile, we're right here today. I promised to talk about the slides, and I think it was great slide deck. Now I want to discuss some practical questions that happened last week. So question number one, I was teaching Elastic, and the first question that they had is, Elastic is a search engine, right? And you also maybe heard Pinecone. That's also a search engine. But Pinecone is a semantic search engine. It understands the meaning. So you're looking for, well, tell me more about beautiful flowers, right? Like here, I have some beautiful flowers. So tell me more about those flowers. That is not a good fit for Elastic, not a good fit for a search engine, because it wants to talk about the meaning. And even though it will not tell you, it's not a generative model, but it will find exactly the right things, and Pinecone will find exactly the document that talks about this in general, not by keywords. Well, sorry, my personal opinion is that Elastic stupidly missed the boat, and they were the great search engine company, but Pinecone beat them. Now, I don't want to just say that, and I'm not into bashing Elastic, but I want to show you their page, because my question was, we are Elastic Shop, so how can we use Elastic for this? Well, here it is, Elastic. Use the semantic search, right? And that's what they talk about here. You can find it right away, but well, where they miss the boat is, first of all, Pinecone is a darling of everyone, and they are just starting to do it now. What they say is they are the most popular vector database. So they are saying that they are the most popular semantic search engine. What they mean, the most downloaded. What they mean is that you can download them. Pinecone, you cannot download them. It is a search engine that's only on the web. So, well, that's convenient. You can argue back and forth, but what they say, and I need to find exactly where they say it. Similarity searches. They say that, look, we're downloadable, and we're the most popular downloaded web search engine. But the truth is that we're downloaded not because of that. We're downloaded because we have a custom base of people who do keyword searches. That's all I wanted to say about this here, right? So yes, Elastic versus Pinecone is a fair question if all you have is Elastic and if you want it for free. Pinecone, if you have $70 a month, and it will work as a great service. That was the news that I wanted to share with you. And now I recorded myself as a critic of Elastic, but I hope they will figure it out and they have enough of what it takes to come back. You can research that further. Now, the next question that came up is this: Elastic is essentially a structured data source. It searches for stuff, but that stuff comes back as a JSON. So those people who work with that are used to think of everything structured. They used to think of taxonomies. I need that particular kind of pizza. And there is little to talk in general. There is little that GPT can help you with. So here we didn't find a good example, even though I have a good example. A good example is this. I was asking my colleagues, how can you use the ChatGPT with structured data? Think of it. You have unstructured data in the world. That's all that people talk about. Structured is a solved problem, nothing to do there. And And nevertheless, how can I use new tools with the old kind of data? And here was the idea that it didn't lie well with the people who were used to structured data. But the example that we had, let's say I plan a vacation. So vacation is all structured data. It's a set of hotels, set of airplanes, and restaurants and friends. And I can come to ChatGPT and just ask it, look, I want a vacation approximately at this time, approximately at that place with my friends. You have the schedules, you have everything now. Go plan that for me. So you're dealing with exactly the structured data, but ChatGPT organizes it together. Well, in my applications, the ones we were talking about in training, nothing worked because they are so conditioned to think about a solution that they already have, they cannot think of new problems. That was, I would say, my failure. Okay, but my success was here. Legal review. So maybe you heard what legal review is. It's lawyers taking boxes of documents and reading them. That is originally what legal review was. And then it became e-review, e-discovery, where instead of boxes, they take hard drives, and that's what they read. And they try to automate it, and nothing works. Meanwhile, that's a very expensive thing. You can get lawyers who are starving, and you can make them work for 25 bucks an hour. And so you organize a team. So you write software that organizes teams, that essentially does human-powered search. You see how old-fashioned that is. But the latest I heard was a note from one law firm that they're trying ChatGPT, and they're saying, look, I have a legal review. Here are all the documents, read them all, and I'll tell you what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something that is relevant to the lawsuit, that is not privileged, meaning it's not correspondence between a lawyer and a client, and it's not junk. Because if I say, hey, Mr. Lawyer, let's go to lunch, that is not relevant. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for anything that has to do with the claims in the lawsuit, and it makes sense. Well, ask ChatGPT that question, right? Agree? Ask ChatGPT that question. It's like planning your vacation, and it will give you the answer. So I'm implementing that in Freed. You remember we have a tool called Freed, and we already added talking to ChatGPT in Freed. That's almost ready to see the light. Now I'm adding just one more thing. There will be a button which says, well, show me all the documents that are relevant to the lawsuit or responsive to the lawsuit. So that's one new idea that I'm sharing with everybody, because it really is only the question of implementation. And besides, this note from the law firm really spelled it out. That's one interesting thing that I wanted to share. Another interesting thing that I wanted to share is I was talking to some people who form teams, and those teams listen to proposals. Let's say there's a government, and this government has proposals. So it says, just give me a video about what you're talking about, and our human assessors will read it, listen, and give you our opinion. Well, that's a task for ChatGPT. Now, if you're a government, you have a whole stream of such proposals non-stop all the time. And what you can do is make ChatGPT listen, transcribe it, describe what you want from it, and it will give you its opinion. So I think both things are extremely promising, and I am going to tell you what happens with each of these ideas next week. So I teased your interest. What I'm doing now is stopping the share and looking at the links that you sent me, at the chat, whatever you want to talk, and Al Mercado asks this question: what is the best thing, such as performance, to look for when comparing these VectorDB to Pinecone? Wow, that's a deep question. Well, first of all, let's read the question again. What is the best thing, such as performance, to look for when comparing this VectorDB to Pinecone? So therefore, let's look at this VectorDB. What is it? It's KDB, knowledge database, I guess, the smarter databases for AI, accept all cookies. Oh, I'm not sharing the screen. So let's share the screen and let's address Al's question. So we are looking at another potential database. So he asks, is it better than, let us say, what was it, Pinecone, or is it worse? Well, honestly, I have not had this kind of questions yet, but let's think together, right? Speed, how fast it is. What algorithms do they use when you use Pinecone? So let me show you what happens when you use Pinecone. And you log in. And the first thing that you see is that they make it very, very convenient to use. So of course, that's important. That's why Pinecone just got $100 million investment. That's the winner. So it is convenient, right? Then it shows you all the projects that you have, like here, all the projects. That's still in the convenience. But let's say we're looking at a specific project and we want to create a new index. What does that mean, to create a new index here? You'll click on create new index. That will allocate a virtual machine for you. That's their model. And when you allocate a virtual machine and give it a name, then you tell it the size. Now, the sizes will probably be between 1,000 and 3,000. That's how long your vector representing your knowledge is. So let's say you think 2,000. But that is nothing. What is important is here. Exactly how you're going to measure what is close, what is far, what is close to your interest, and what is far from your interest. So they give you 3 potential measures, and you will probably look at that, which one do you need, how do they work. That's all mathematical formula, so it's hard to say by its name what it does. Well, it's easy to say what it does, but how good it is, that's something you need to set. Besides, you can set it by the model if you want. So that, I guess, should all be there because I'm using it all the time. Then the sizes and then the cost. That's all Pinecone gives you that. So if you're comparing, let's go back, comparing Pinecone to that, you will look at all those things, first of all, that Pinecone gives you because you want to evaluate. Then you will want to, and that seems very well designed and easy to use. So it looks like there is a comparison, but then you want performance. So for performance, there is a good candidate. There's a framework that allows you to evaluate the performance of your AI. That is found right here, or it's called the strange name, R&B. So I really need to find it. 1 second, I'm finding it for you. And for that, we need to go back to our course. And here it says a learning path. So in that learning path, there are all potential frameworks, courses that you need to take. And the one I think about is this: evaluating. It should be a G, right? Okay, I'm not fixing the server now. And debugging generative AI, which is a framework for when you have a team of developers, ongoing development, and if you're evaluating the quality. Why is this called WNB? It's like weight and balances. Don't ask me, but it is found right here. And it is represented in the form of a course by Andrew Ng. But if you cannot log in from here, okay, that's them. So in presenting this framework, all you have to do is to find W and B, and that will be a framework to evaluate on your overall machine learning. Okay. Now that I showed you that, I can ask you, was that your question? Okay. Does that address your question now? Okay, great. Okay. Wonderful. So, well, I'll stop sharing now. Stop share. And that worked. I stopped talking, stopped sharing, so you asked a question. But if not, if you don't have any specific questions right now, then please write an email, right? And the email is found over there in our folder, but I'll give you my email here. There are two things that I use. Skya is the place where I do those startups, and Elephant Scale is the place where I teach about technologies. So right now I'm doing much more of a Skya kind of thing because of the questions that you guys ask, and those questions lead me to investigate, like, can we do this or that or something like that? That's interesting, and I may get a big source of new ideas. I just signed up to evaluate other people's ideas. So I may get a much bigger source, but at least you can write to mark@skya.ai. All right. So please write and enjoy Friday, and then enjoy your weekend and the week. And I'm wishing everybody all the best.
Thank you, Mark.
Very welcome.
Have a nice weekend, everyone, and you too, Mark. Bye.
Everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Be well. And goodbye for now.